Hi, I'm John Waterhouse, and this is Weekday Wisdom. Thank you for joining me today. My question for you today is, do you ever want to give up? To answer that question, I'm going to tell the story of someone you've heard of. You may have even seen a movie about this man, but it's worth looking at his life today for just a couple minutes to see how we should never give up. The story begins in 1962. Stephen Hawking was just 21 years old when he received the news that would change his life. He had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Just so you know where how that name applies, Lou Gehrig, nicknamed the Iron Horse, was the iconic first baseman of the New York Yankees for 17 straight seasons in the 1920s and 30s. He was diagnosed with this disease that now bears his name in 1939 at the age of 36. And he lived only 2 years beyond that diagnosis. Lou Gehrig's disease is progressive, incurable, and fatal. Hawking's doctors told him he only had a few years to live at best. Remember, he was 21. And when Hawking was told of his disease and pending death, he was a doctoral student at Cambridge University. He'd already earned his degree at the University of Oxford, but his research hadn't been going well. He was unmotivated with his work, and he was pretty bored with life. At first, Hawking chose the road of despair and resignation. He didn't see any point in finishing his degree if he was going to die. But a greater reality took him to a crossroad in his life. He knew that he could either give up his studies and wait to die, or he could make the most of what time he had left. What made the difference was the encouragement and support of the love of his life. Her name was Jane Wilde, and with her help, Stephen found the fire and the determination that he had been missing before his diagnosis. Of course, he was afraid of dying. Who wouldn't be? But he was even more afraid that he would die without achieving anything in his life. He married Jane in 1965, finished his studies at Cambridge, and worked as a full-time theoretical physicist and cosmologist, focusing on black hole and quantum gravity theories with several distinguished physicists of his day. Stephen and Jane had 3 children, and she devotedly cared for him for 30 years as his disease progressed. While his body deteriorated, his career began to blossom. He was elected as one of the youngest fellows of the Royal Society of London in 1974, and his substantial contribution to the improvement of natural knowledge was the reason for him to receive that award. He became a Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 1982, which is the highest ranking award of the United Kingdom. He was given the Companion of Honor Award in 1989 for rendering conspicuous national service, especially to the advancement of culture. In 2009, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama. He received these and a host of other medals, awards, and prizes from esteemed academic organizations, societies, and governments. He was also a writer. He published hundreds of research papers as well as 6 books. His runaway bestseller was A Brief History of Time, From the Big Bang to Black Holes, which stayed on the Sunday Times bestseller list for a record-breaking 237 weeks. In late 2006, Hawking revealed in a BBC interview that one of his greatest unfulfilled desires was to travel to space. On hearing this, Sir Richard Branson offered him a free flight into space with Virgin Galactic, which Hawking immediately accepted. Although that dream was never realized, it's still good to dream big. Stephen Hawking made his transition at the age of 76, defying his doctor's predictions of an early death. And my guess is, although I haven't actually proven this, is that he likely outlived most of his doctors. Even being paralyzed, wheelchair-bound, and using a computer voice synthesizer through his entire adult life, Stephen Hawking became a highly respected scientist, a world-renowned celebrity, and an inspiration to millions of people. In 2005 interview, Hawking said, "It's a waste of time to be angry about my disability. One has to get on with life, and I haven't done badly. People won't have time for you if you're always angry or complaining." So if you're ever thinking about not getting a good break in life, think about Stephen Hawking, a man who lived well, and get on with your life. Thank you, Stephen Hawking. And you have a fantastic day.